Greetings again, everybody. Welcome back to Demon's Crest. Now, at this point there is only one more area left for us to explore, so let's head there right away. It's that place here, in the snow. These are the Arctic Barrens, the frozen fields, or whatever you wanna call it. And yes, the floors are slippery because everything is frozen, so I really suggest using the aerial gargoyle. Makes things so much easier because you can just hover above the ground and not have to deal with the slippery floors. Plus you can deal with the enemies fairly quickly because those dragons, they're one-hit kills but only with the aerial gargoyle's attack, and the others, well, they take a little more hits because it's not their weakness, but they still die faster than with any other attack. Plus, we're using the hand talisman, so we can actually have two projectiles on screen at the same time, which makes the aerial gargoyle even better. So yeah, this area here does a much better job of showing us what the aerial gargoyle is good for than the area we originally used him in, which was the forest. But yeah, this part here in particular is best played with a gargoyle that can fly and fly up too, because switching is a pain in the ass, because you can see down there those bones. They function as spikes and they hurt. There's always a full health refill in that pot here, by the way, and there's only one skull pile with something in it. It is that one, up here. And what we'll find in there is our final vellum. You can see that I have one spell here. It's the death spell. We're gonna use it later. But now first for the hardest boss in the game. This here is Grey One, and he is the hardest boss. For one part, because you can't really fight him on the ground just like that. It will be very difficult to outmaneuver him, to jump over him, because he will also jump up and hurt you a lot. But another thing that makes him really difficult, something that a lot of people might not immediately understand about him, because it's the only boss that does that. When you hit him, he turns green. And when he's green, he is invincible. Now other bosses of course also have mercy invincibility. But what's unique about this is that when you hit him while he's green, he will just, you know, stay green and stay invincible for that entire time. So you will want to only hit him one shot at a time. And here I'm using the fireball because I believe, I'm not 100% sure, that he is weak to fire. The other attacks seem to make the fight seem much longer. Like the Buster and the Claw, they don't really do nearly as much against him. And we can see he's already turning reddish here. Now you can see my strategy obviously. It is to fly up and then goad him into jumping. And then drop down and attack him. Seems to work best. It's pretty much the only way to actually do this in my opinion. Well, of course, you could also use the aerial gargoyle to get up, but then you would have to switch to actually attack him, because yes, of course, the aerial gargoyle's attacks do nothing against Grey One. And I don't know how well the ground gargoyle would fare attack-wise, but mobility-wise he's definitely not exactly something you'd want to go for here, because the ground of course is still slippery. You don't want to use a ground-based gargoyle when there's slippery floor, really. But yeah, you can see one more hit and I'll be dead. And I do have potions, the ginsengs, which heal me fully, but I'm not going to use them. Because sometimes I just like to challenge myself a little bit. But hey, I managed here. And with Grave Undead we get the Demon Fire, which is rather nice. It's a more powerful version of the Fireball. However, and I hate to spoil it, it's going to be rendered pretty much obsolete by the next thing we find. This, sadly, is a recurring theme with the Crest pieces in this game. So after the rather obvious main path, let us go and explore the hidden path. And the secret to finding it is to, well, to fly up. And first find an urn here, because right at the start there is our final urn. After that, though, we will have to fly to the right until we, well, find something. Now, I actually would recommend doing the hidden path before doing the main path, because, well, the boss of the hidden path is much easier than that of the main path, mostly because Greymon, as already stated, is the hardest boss in the game. Not only in my opinion, it's pretty much the general consensus that this is the case. But I do like the fight against Greymon, it's probably my favorite boss fight. Hello, here, look what we found. This hidden path just might be the longest hidden path in the entire game, unless I'm terribly mistaken. It also tries to be pretty, well, creepy in an ominous way, this time around with the music, and I'm not sure it works, because the gameplay is still exactly the same. Now here we see two ice blocks, blocking doors. It's a pretty good idea to go into the left one first, because that one doesn't actually lead us to our goal. Instead we can find an item. It's of course another health up. Now we only need two more and we're good. They aren't in this level though. So let's get on back out and through that other ice blocky door to actually proceed with all this. So there's one thing I really don't like about this area, and you might have already noticed it as well. These enemies here, we've seen them all before. Those bats with the eyes, they appeared in, well, they appeared in the forest, only they had purple wings back then. Now they have green wings, it's kind of odd, it's not the other way around. But anyway, to get through those enemies as quickly as possible, let's just use the demon fire, because it makes short work of them. It kills most of them in one hit. In fact, I think it kills pretty much every normal enemy in one hit, much like the tidal gargoyles underwater shot. And aside from the buster, the demon fire is definitely the most useful piece of the fire crest. And while that isn't saying much, it does phenomenal damage. But yeah, now that we're out of that part, we can actually go on ahead and fight the mini-boss of the hidden path. It's another flyer. We've seen the flyer before. Now this isn't the first time a boss gets recycled. In this case it actually kind of makes sense, because we now have the weakness of the flyer, which happens to be the aerial gargoyle shot. But we're not gonna use that. Instead, let's just go on ahead and use the demon fire, because I want to get as much use out of it as I can. Let's also use the death spell, why not? It's basically a screen clearing spell, but it also damages bosses. But if you use it on normal enemies, they'll just die as long as they're on screen, of course. The flyer didn't really learn any new tricks, he just has a different color and a little more HP, which doesn't really matter, because we both could use his weakness, the aerial gargoyle shot or the demon fire, which both do more damage, much more damage than what we had before. In fact, look at that, he's already dead. Of course, since this is a mini-boss, we don't even get a real reward for beating it. We just get a full health refill, which is really nice though. Hey, remember when we were in the dark room and I promised you that we will see the darkness gimmick again? Well, here it is. On the upside, we can use the demon fire to light the candles because, well, it's a fire spell. And those enemies are new. They actually burn when hit with a fire spell, rather a fire attack, which the regular fireball also counts as. Now on the downside though, we have to go up, which means we have to switch our forms. Every time we want to light a candle, we need to switch to regular old firebrand, and every time we actually want to proceed, we have to go use the aerial gargoyle. Now this part here is actually optional, but there is something very nice here. Just want to make sure you see it. In this statue, or rather in this frozen enemy, is another talisman, the armor. What does the armor do? Well, the armor, pretty much, halves all the damage we take. So we just got another health bar on top of our health bar. This is a very good reason to come here before fighting Greymon. In fact, it might be a good idea to come here as soon as you unlock the second set of areas, because it makes everything you find in it a choke. At least it's something you can do if you have trouble with the game. But trouble isn't something you should be having in this game, because it's not a very hard game. I say as I don't do very well But anyway, I'm just glad that this darkness part is almost over already. Because in case you couldn't tell, I don't particularly like it. It forces us to switch back and forth between various forms, and it can't be done quickly on the fly, which would help us a lot. Hello, look who we have here. We didn't see Arma in quite a while now. And it looks like this time he's serious. Now, in this fight with Arma, the Demon Fire, if you have it, is probably your best choice because it makes short work of him. It'll kill him in almost no time. Arma only has one new attack too. He should do it any second now. There, that's it. That's the new attack. He does it instead of shooting the laser. It does block our shots, so we can't attack him through it, which is something that can sometimes hinder you. Yeah, I just did here with me. But anyway, other than that, he doesn't have any new tricks. He can still do the whirlwind, but he rarely does it, and oh, he's dead. Oh wow, now we get his powers, I guess. As always, we get a new crest from Arma. And this time it's probably the best crest in the game, even better than the, well, aerial gargoyle. I mean, we can't fly up with this, but we do a ton of damage and we take half damage? Wait. We take half damage and we also have the armor already? Oh. Yeah. More on that next time. See ya.